Greetings and happy Easter. DAF is a Dutch truck manufacturer that was founded in 1928. It is operated under many names and produced equipment ranging from six-wheel drive conversion kits for Ford trucks to lorries, trailers, cars, buses, and even the occasional dustbin. A Chicago company, International Harvester, actually bought a one-third stake in the company from 1972 for about 9 years. The products of DAF are produced from England to Australia. This Matchbox tipper is based on the DAF 2600 cab-over model produced by DAF from 1962 to 1974. Lesney produced this toy from 1967 until 1972 in both regular wheels and superfast. The tipper was always yellow, but there is a variant in cab color, with earlier models being sea green or turquoise. There is a silver or gray cover that is generally missing, but readily available on the internet. It is cast at 1/94th scale. Mine cost me a grand total of $2.72, and I paid $8.45 for a replacement cover from the folks at Toy Resto on eBay. My cost on this casting is $11.17. It's a marginal candidate for restoration in that most of the surface paint is intact, but the edges are pretty chipped up. This is TimeRider, and I'll be doing a straight-up restoration. The chassis was made of red plastic and was held on with a single mushroomed post. And it was a very short post, so I just drilled it off without any intention of tapping it. Reassembly will have to occur with some type of adhesive. Came off pretty quickly and immediately fell on the floor. Using this sharp grinding tool, there's a need to remove the burr from the outside edge of the post so that when I reassemble it, it will go together easily. And the wheels need to come off so that I can paint the chassis. Using a grinding tip, I just take down the narrow mushroom so that I can pull the wheels off. It's pretty standard practice. Now the tipper was also held on with a mushroomed pin. Real tough to get at, but there was enough room for me to stick my little grinding tool into this opening, and very carefully, so as not to damage the casting, which is harder than you might think. I actually have my Dremel sitting on the bench. You can get that little mushroom off the one end and grab it with a needle nose pliers, and Bob's your uncle. You got it into pieces. This particular casting also had a hydro sleeve, but unlike most tippers, it wasn't in the chassis, it was actually in the tipper, and it was really kind of large. It was designed to slide back and forth in those rails as you open and close it. But anyway, here it is, ready to go. And take a bath in Aircraft Stripper. For about 15 minutes is all it typically needs. Paint removal occurred without a hitch, and cleaning of the casting was fairly straightforward. These lorries they're not particularly complicated. There are a lot of flat sides. About the only challenging part to cleaning up this type of a casting is inside of those fenders on the rear. The casting for the tipper, though, is another story. If you've ever done one of these, you know that they have all different kinds of sides to them because of the raised ridges on the side of the casting. So you really got to hit it from a lot of different angles to get it cleaned up. And then once I had it clean, it was just a matter of some Tamiya light gray primer. And then it's ready for paint. The cab, of course, being silver, and if you've ever sprayed Tamiya silver, you know it's number X11, incidentally. But you know that a lot of times you can just spray it as much as you want. I don't usually have to do a tack coat at all with the metallics, but still got to be sure to hit it from all sides, top and bottom. Get inside the fender wells. A lot of different sides to the model, as I said before, especially with those fender wells. But I just painted the silver until it had a nice natural gloss to it, and then went to work on the tipper. Now the yellow, X8 lemon yellow, is a little bit too bright. So what I generally do is I add a little bit of red, to maybe just a drop or two, to try to get more of a construction yellow. And I did do a tack coat. Again, you know, because of all the ridges on the back of the tipper, you really have to hit it from all sides. You know, and I didn't have a lot of yellow paint left, so I really kind of had one shot at this. I found in doing this that I use more clear, more black, and more white than anything else. And so I usually order those a couple of jars at a time. This time I ordered 2 jars of yellow because I use it in making so many other colors. It's a nice alternative to white if you don't want to just make your red into pink. If you want to keep some warmth to it, you're better off lightening it with yellow. There's a lot of other colors that are the same. If you're doing green and you want to lighten the green, oftentimes yellow is a better alternative than the white. But as you can see, I'm starting to get that nice shiny finish that I'm looking for. Cleaning the plastic parts was easy, just a little bit of mild soapy water and a toothbrush. Really, it was mostly just the front end here, which I left the wheels attached to. And then there was the individual wheels, some of which were pretty encrusted with mud. And then there was the glass that needed to be cleaned. It didn't have any scratches in it at all. So really all I had to do was clean it. And of course, cleaned up the hydro sleeve. It really wasn't very dirty, but I did it anyway. So it's time for some assembly. I put the window glass in with a couple of spots of RTV silicone, and I had placed just a drop of super glue on the post and used a dental tool to kind of spread it just a little bit onto the top. And then it was a matter of reinstalling the wheels, and as you can see, they're very close to the painted fenders, so I'm not going to be hammering on these. I'm just going to go back to, you know, my tried and true method of using a little bit of super glue, just to make a little ball of super glue on the end of the axle for the 2 wheels that or I should say 4 wheels that I did remove. Then a little bit of tire wash to, you know, bring them back to life a little bit. They actually weren't that bad, but that's fine. just takes a minute, and I really think it adds a lot back to the tires. And then an American Accent silver pen that I bought at Menards to kind of revitalize the hubs on the ends of the axle pins. I used to struggle a lot more with taking apart castings that still looked pretty good. And I think I've kind of gotten over that, because over the weekend here I did something that I'll talk about here in a minute that really illustrated to me just how many of these castings there are out there. And I'm sorry, they have no historical significance. I don't even care if the casting is in mint condition. If it isn't mint in the box, it's just another toy that got played with 50 years ago. That being said, let's take a look at where I finally wound up. Thanks again to the folks at Toy Resto. Without people willing to manufacture replacement parts for these things, restoration would be much more challenging. It's nice to be able to bring something back and have it be nearly in the condition it was when it was new. The number 47C DAF container truck. Stick around for the bench after this is all said and done. This is TimeRider, and I'll leave the light on for you. Hey everybody, let's take a look at what I got going on my bench this week. Well, you know, the weather here is nice, and yesterday it was 73 degrees, and the first day of the Wright County Swappers meet. Remember how I said a little earlier in this video I saw something that really put it into perspective? Well, walking around this place, I saw vendors with buckets and buckets of die cast. In fact, you usually kind of had to sort through thousands of castings to try to find what you wanted. And I came home with about $30 worth of castings that I got shown here. None of them were 1 through 75 Matchbox, I will say that. But there's a lot of neat stuff here, and I'll be doing customs until Christmas with what I got here. Oh my God, what is this? Well, I don't know. It looks to me like it could be the tank cut off of a replica number 11. Well, what the heck am I going to do with that? I don't know, but if you stick around and watch my channel long enough, you'll find out exactly what I'm going to do with it. Hey, everybody, remember this Porsche? And I painted it, and then I got a couple of spots that I fixed, and they didn't match, and so I went to paint it again, and man, oh man, look at down here. I started painting red, and there was these 5 little bumps. I have absolutely no idea what they're from, but this is the Porsche that didn't want to be painted. So I always like to have a couple of restorations going on, and there's a lot of people that would probably say that I shouldn't restore this, but the paint is just shot, and there's a bunch of flea bites on the front, the tires don't fit, so I'm going to strip it down, I'm going to repaint it. I do have new decals for it, and we'll make it something pretty again. And I finally made it down to the auto parts store and picked up some glazing putty, so I can try to do something with the corrosion that was on the back of this number 32 Jaguar. And I am working on that, and I kind of have a plan for it, and hopefully that'll be coming out fairly soon. But anyway, that's about it for the bench. Thanks for watching. Please share with those that might be interested in this, and if it's the first time for you, click the little Wii in the corner to subscribe. And that's about it.